Today we are going to talk about the Spring Boot Cloud Gateway. How we in this project, as I mentioned, that I'm going to start showing some few examples in Spring Cloud Gateway. So what we're going to do is first we'll have to go to this. Can be done either downloading the project directly or just go to the start of spring.io and you choose the kind of project, whichever language is Java. So my embrace project, you need to use one of the Spring Boot versions. I'm going to use 3.4.2 as of Jan 2025. As of now I have 17. We can go 21 or 23. Packaging will be a jar. I'm just mentioning the details here. So this is our project. So you can see main resources. So this is the application. What's this? All we can do is we don't need to really make use of the properties. We can either go with the properties file or with the YAML file. I usually prefer YAML file. No. In the YAML file, we are going to write Spring Cloud Gateway, and here we have to write the routes. So because we are going to work on a route called as after predicate. There are multiple routes, so this example we are going to show you. I'm going to show you how to actually implement Spring Cloud Gateway with one of the routes, which is after route. So let me go to the documentation. So it's not a gateway, but it's a Spring Cloud Gateway. This is the one. So we're going to implement one of the routes. So Spring Cloud Gateway routes, and then this is what we are going to implement. But there are multiple things, right? So the routes predicate. So it's an after route which I'm going to implement. So I'm just going to copy these details. I'm going to call this ID as after route because that's what I'm going to tell. So when I say after, the purpose of this is in after route, anything after a given time will only be allowed. The request will be allowed, otherwise the request will not be allowed. So and then let's call the URI that I'm going to call. I'm going to make a call to https://httpbin.org. This is the URI I'm going to call. So if you see this, it's a, if I make a get call to this endpoint, this is the kind of request we am going to get. Okay, so let's try. So this is the URI in the endpoint, and now we'll have to match which path is my API request coming from. So in Postman, I may be calling this through a path endpoint like and v that has to be mentioned in the predicates path. Predicate path, and it's a key value pair. That is how it takes. So path is equal to, we call it slash API slash Spring Cloud Gateway slash predicate slash afterroot. Okay. Now I want to tell that after this specific time, please allow the API calls to go through. And the method I would like to allow is get comma post. I'm going to write some filters here. Again, these are all some properties. So what the filters does is it's going to rewrite the path. So this is how we write it. So when I get a request on this API, on this path from Postman or any of the client, typically this one, I am saying that, hey, filter this path and map to /get, because so once I test in Postman, you will understand this. So the request comes onto this path, and when the data comes along this path, it is saying, hey, rewrite path to /get and call this endpoint. So eventually the endpoint that we'll be calling is http bins.org/get. Okay, so let's try. So we have done this. Make the changes, go ahead and run your application. See, so I think there's an existing port running already on 8080. That's why it did not listen. So let me go ahead and stop that. Yeah, I stopped the server. So let me go ahead and run this demo application again. Yeah, so you see the small indentation issue. So that's why it was failing. See, this is not predicate, but it should have been predicates. This is the error. And if you see this, the indentation, earlier everything was blue. So if it is a this is a slight change in color. I think it should work now. I saved it. I stopped the server. Go ahead and run the Postman request. Let me bring up the application again. Yeah, so this is capital P. So each and everything is very important. We change this to small p, it's not going to work. We are removing this is not going to work. So let's go ahead and run the get API call. At last, you see, now you can see that I got a response back. This is it. Now let me go ahead and make some small change. Like I don't want to receive any request onto this API until 2026. Okay, so I make these changes. I stop the server. Starting the server again. server started. Now you see this, it was successful case scenario. Now I'm going to hit the same API endpoint, and now let's see what is there. It says 404 not found. The reason is because we are giving and running this request at this timestamp, but only requests after this timestamp are allowed. So that's the beauty of it. Now we can also do method modification, like if I want to just allow post methods, I can allow post method and remove the get, uh, and then you'll see that the same issue happens, that you'll not be able to hit the endpoint. That's the beauty of this. It's so well easily you can manage so many additional routes which you can add. I'm going to add later probably, but this is about the Spring Cloud Gateway. Thank you. I'm going to add more examples. Let me know if you like this.